your wife. She knows what she's talking about. Trust your wife. She knows what she's talking about. Jonathan Burnos.
My father once told me when I was a little boy, he said, son, someday you're going to be married. Trust your wife. She knows what she's talking about. And that was some of the best advice that my father ever gave me. Fast forward some years, I'm married, and my wife and I are expecting our third child. My wife tells me to pack the maternity bag. So let's take a look at what I packed. Just the essentials. Emergency poncho, because we know that water will break. Snorkel, in case there's a lot of water. Also, we can't forget the headlamp, because we need to be able to get in there and help out. You can see where this is going. My wife saw the bag, she laughed, and she said, repack the bag. And my father's words bubbled up in my head, trust your wife, she knows what she's talking about. My wife and I wanted to have a natural birth. Now this meant no hospitals, no doctors, and no drugs. Now side note, I did ask for the drugs to help me get through this. They told me that wouldn't be a good idea while your wife was pregnant. My wife agreed, and remember, trust your wife. She knows what she's talking about. So we had to find a birthing center. We had a team of nurses, we had a midwife, and bonus, we had a doula. Now a doula is like a special birthing coach for dad. It was her job to interpret my wife's angry cussing. So when my wife said, I hate you, you mother babe, the doula would say, she wants some ice chips and you can rub her feet. And I'm like, that's awesome, because I didn't hear that. She wasn't just a regular doula, she was like a super doula. I mean, if she was a football coach, she would have been the Don Shula of doulas. She was my very own Don Doula. We had to tour birthing centers. This is where you get to choose the room that your child is born in, and then they kick you out right after. We were there with several families, and when I get nervous, sometimes I get sarcastic. I might crack a joke or two. So on the tour, I raised my hand. I said, excuse me, are we going to see the father's room at some point on the tour? And they were confused. They said, I'm sorry, father's room? I said, yeah, you know the room that I get to go to when my wife's giving birth? If there's a TV there, a video game system, ping pong table, something I can do? So I laughed. Nobody else did. Even the other dads didn't back me up. They seemed really irritated. They said, no, sir, we expect you to be in the room with your wife. My wife agreed. And remember, trust your wife. She knows what she's talking about. Well, we found that special room. My wife fell in love with it. We knew it was the right one because there was a white-tailed deer that frolicked outside the window. There was a little old lady that was sitting in a rocking chair. She was just knitting. I don't even know why she was there. I thought she was just included with the room. My wife said, this is the one, I'm in love with it. And I said, this is the most expensive one. Are you sure? She said, yep, this is the one we're going to have our baby in. Trust your wife. She knows what she's talking about. Okay, we'll take it. Actually, we'll take two. Time went on. It became the day. My wife, as I was getting ready for work one morning, poked around the corner of the bathroom and said, my water broke. I said, okay, good news, we don't need the poncho. I said, okay, it's time to go. I grabbed the bag quickly. I said, I'll get the car ready. We got to get going. My wife said, no, stay calm. We have time. She wanted to finish reading her novel. She asked for a bowl of soup for lunch. She casually got ready. She put her makeup on. She was putting makeup on. I'm freaking out. I'm counting contractions. I'm like, we got to go. The baby's going to fall out any minute. She's like, no. Remember, we labor at home. It's okay. We've got time. Again, remember what Dad said. Trust your wife. She knows what she's talking about. Well, I call up Don Doula. Don Doula comes over. She gets down there to check it out. I get down there with her to check it out. Don Doula says, now's not a good time. Okay. Fair enough. Don Doula takes one look and says, oh my God, we need to go right now. I said, I know. I've been saying that all morning. Nobody ever listens to me. Doula says, shh, let's go. Okay, I take my now fully labored wife, and I place her carefully into the car. Don Doula says, I'll take my car and I'll meet you there. I say, hey, how about you take my car with her? I'll take your car and I'll meet you there. Bad time for a joke. I get in the car. We've got to go quickly. I've done this route multiple times. I've practiced. I know this like Han Solo doing the Kessel Run. I know it like the back of my hand. It's a right turn, left turn, right turn, left turn, straight, and then we get there. That's it. Now my wife, her legs have gone up on the dash now. And she's starting to moan. Ah. Now, what's happening right now is what science calls transition. If you know labor, transition is the most intense and painful part. And you definitely shouldn't do it in a car. As my wife's yelling, I'm thinking, I know the way to go. I just got to hit that right turn. But I've never done this with distraction before. But just make the right turn. I missed the right turn. Oh my God, I missed the right turn. I'm going straight. I'm going the long way. This is the slow way. Okay, maybe my wife didn't notice. My wife's next to me. She goes, you're going the wrong way! I say, no, I'm not. I'm taking a shortcut. To which my wife replies, liar! Trust your wife. She knows what she's talking about. I can do this. I look over. I swear, I see a hand coming out, pointing to the right. Even my own baby knows I missed the wrong right turn. Stay calm, focus, lock the doors, don't let her jump out. We go, and we get there. Just in time. I mean, no later than 5 minutes, my son is born. And it's perfect. Everything goes great. I knew it was perfect because I could see deer frolicking outside the window. The little old lady in the rocking chair, she finished knitting. It was a stocking cap for my newborn son. Everything was perfect. It was the best day ever. My parents came in. They were visitors. My dad stood next to me, grinning from ear to ear, smiling. He popped me in the chest. He said, pretty amazing, isn't it, son? I said, yeah, Dad, it is. Remember when you told me, trust your wife? She knows what she's talking about? He said, yeah. I said, that was the best advice you ever gave me. He said, I know. He smiled, leaned in close and whispered, your mother told me to tell you that.